Hello all. So welcome back all. Welcome. Okay, so we will wait for 1 or 2 minutes, and then we will just get started with our JavaScript last day. This is going to be the last day of JavaScript, where we're going to cover all the basics and the fundamental concepts of JavaScript. It will really going to helpful for the persons who want to kickstart their career and they just want to learn about JavaScript. This will be really helpful. Okay. So this is all about we have completed the last 3 days. We have completed successfully, and this is going to be the fourth day. We're going to have some of the concept that is still remaining. We're just going to do those concepts, and we're going to learn those concepts. And if possible, we're going to do some applications also. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Yeah. So if you are in, just tell your name in the chat box. And if someone is new here, it is going to be a 4 days workshop, and it is going to be day four, and the last 3 days is already completed. And if you completed all the 4 days, and if you filled all the 4 days of attendance, then you will get the attendance. If you need to fill the attendance form, we will provide you during the link. And if you filled it all the 4 days of attendance, you will get a participation certificate, and you will get notified in the LinkedIn too. Okay, so that's what you will get, and also you will get the knowledge that is completely for free. And yeah, that's all about that. And if you haven't, it is your day one right now only you are watching, you haven't watched the past 3 days, the live chat is enabled and the video is recorded. The live is already in record. You can watch, you can go and watch all the 3 days of JavaScript class, and then you can fill the attendance form in the live chat. Okay, if you fill those attendance form in the live chat, that is also you will get. Fine. Okay. So let us wait for 1 or 2 minutes to people to get joined, and then we will get started with our application. Okay. So the last 2 days, 3 days, we have completed the basics. We have discussed about variables, functions, data types, and we have discussed about conditional statements, DOM operation, how to add an element, how to remove an element, and how to just work with the event listeners, how to change the style of it, how to change the attribute of it. All these concepts we have been successfully completed. So yeah, Vignesh, thank you. And now we're going to look at today's concept is all about looping. Okay. So good evening, Shobha. So we're going to look into uh, looping concepts and the concept called iteration. So these two concepts that we're going to look into it. One is looping and another one is iteration. And these concepts we just want to look into it. And this concept, once we completed this concept, we will do some real world case, and we will create some applications also, and we will discuss about template literals, and we will discuss about array iterators. Those things also we will discuss it. If you have enough time, that we will discuss, and we will do more things to achieve those things. Okay. So okay, so let's get started. It's time's up. Okay, so wait for the attendance to provide. So today is the last date. Don't miss today's attendance. Okay, so today is the last date. Fill those attendance today. You will get a participation certificate if you filled all the 4 days of attendance. Okay, if anyone is new here right now only watching, tell your name in the chat box. Okay, so if you already been like you are already watching for the past 3 days, then that is absolutely fine. But if you are new here right now only you are watching, means fill today's attendance and go and fill all the watch all the 3 days live class and fill that attendance too. Okay, so those who are filling all the attendance, those people will get the thing. Hi, hi Vamsi. Okay, so let me share my another screen. Okay, so I hope that you can able to see the another screen of me. Okay, so let me open. Okay, so this is the folder that we are working with. Let me open this here with VS Code. Okay, so and let me open it with the live server. Open it with live server. Okay, it is starting. And this what it is. Okay, so these are all the things that we have yesterday looked it out. We just see about the conditional statement and how can we use our conditional statements, and how can we create some application that we already discussed. Okay, so hi, I just joined. Don't worry, Satyajit. Okay, so if you just joined today, watch today's video completely, and then also watch all the previous days videos and fill the 4 days attendance. Okay, and you will get a certification. Okay. Hi sir, I'm well in DSA. So which framework can I learn to get suggest me? So it depends upon that. If you know data structure and algorithm, that is good, fine. But it is at the end of the day, everything that you it depends upon what you are building, right? So how many problems we are solving? We are not going to work in the company to solve a, like, that is important skill that you are learning, that is well and good. Okay, but the thing is, if you want to become a developer, then learn JavaScript. If you want to become another thing, then just based upon what you want to learn, you can go with. But if you want to become a developer, learn JavaScript, and JavaScript is going to be everywhere in the development field, and you don't want any other language that you're going to put. So once you learn the JavaScript, then go for JavaScript frameworks like React and Node.js, get a job. That's it. It's simple process. Okay, it depends upon what you want to learn. Okay. Okay, so this is the application that we have created, and we worked with some traffic lights too, and we have, or we already worked with traffic lights, and we generated some of the application and everything. So the today is that what we're going to work with is just a minute. Okay, so today what we're going to work with is going to be loops. So let us discuss about what is loops. Okay, hi Vignesh. So yeah, again in. Okay, so those who are watching it in LinkedIn, that is good. But if you can able to come to YouTube, just join with YouTube. Okay, so you will get much more insight. So that's what it is. Okay, so no problem. But I think the attendance form, I don't know whether it is comes in LinkedIn or not. But if you are in YouTube, I can definitely say it will be there. Okay, so just if you can possible, just join it in here. Okay, okay. Let us see about loops. So when it comes to loops, the major loops are, there are going to be 3 loops. Okay, the major loops, and there are some other loops is there for in for of loops. Some of the advanced loops is also there, but the major loop is going to be 3 loops. One is going to be, the first one is going to be for loop, the second one is going to be while loop, and the third one is going to be do while loop. And yesterday, some of the person asked me, can you explain about what is do while loop? Okay, so he asked me about that. Today we will discuss it. What is actually loop is? So loop is nothing but what is in English. What is the meaning of loop? So continuously running a process again and again, right? So running a repeated process again and again. So that's what it is loop. That's what all about loop, right? So yeah, that's what all about loops. Okay, so that is the same thing. If here I want to run a particular process again and again, good evening. So again and again, so I can use this loop and I just work with that. So how can we use this? How can we use this? Let me discuss. So let us go for the for loop first of all. So first what I need to achieve is, the achieve is, I just want to print my name in the console, okay, for 10 times. So this is a repetition process, right? So for 10 times I need to print my name in the console. Okay, so for example like this. Okay, so in normal, how we can print it? Well, if I say, let's go and right click here, inspect console. Here you can see we are getting, and for 10 times I just want to copy paste, copy paste like this. I need to print it, and we will get how many times we want to print it, we will get it, right? And you can see this process is repeating, and to stop this process only we have this loop. So we create a loop, and we can set how many times I want to repeat that particular process, and based on that particular time we can able to interact with it. Just a minute. Okay, sorry for that. Okay. Okay, so that's what it is. So This process I need to achieve with looping. So how can we achieve it? So first we go for loop and see the syntax, and for in for, okay, and here we're just going to have three parameters. Like for is going to be the syntax for creating a for loop. We just want to use this for keyword, and here we need to open a parenthesis, and whatever the block of code I want to repeat it for the looping times, like the code that I want to repeat for a number of times, how many times I just want to write it here. And here I need to frame a condition, and this condition is basically depends upon what the logic that I want to write. For example, here the logic is going to be I want to print my name in the console for 10 times, so the loop is need to run for 10 times. Okay, so that's what it is. Here we need to write, and here in the inside this parenthesis it takes three things. One is going to be initiation, so where it need to start, and another one is going to be condition, to check for a condition that is for, like, if the condition is true, the condition is true, then the code will be executed. Okay, so the starting point, and it will check for the condition. If the condition is true, then the code will be executed. Once the code is completed, then we need to give an increment or decrement operator. So, well, why we need to give this increment and decrement operator means, because we need to create a loop for like an infinite loop. So what is meant by finite loop? Well, looping is all about running a particular process again and again, right? So that's what looping is. Okay, so we need to tell, like, we need to create a finite loop. We need to tell JavaScript that exactly at what condition I need to stop the loop. Okay, because if you create some infinite loop, then what will happen means this process. So right now the finite thing is I just want to run the code for 10 times only. But if I don't stop the loop after 10 times, then what will happen means just go and keeps on running again and again and again, and it is just go and hang our browser, and browser just hang, and just we need to close down and we need to write the program again. That's what we need to do. So whenever we are creating a loop, the first thing and the foremost thing rule is we need to create a finite loop. So which means the loop should be stopped at any, like, based upon the conditions, need to be stopped at some time. That's what it is. Okay, so here let us say what is the initiation. I just going to say let a equal to, let us say let I is equal to 0. So this is a starting point. I created a variable and I just mentioned it as let I is equal to 0. And here what I'm going to do, I just going to check I is less than 10. Okay, if the I value is less than 10, then I need to run this console.log. Console.log. I just want to tell. Okay, so now you can see that this is an infinite loop. Okay, sorry for that. Okay, so this is what, here you can see this is an example for an infinite loop. Okay, so here we haven't declared the increment and decrement, that is why it is failed. But what is happening here, I tell where to start, and I tell the condition right now it is going to be true, and it is going to execute the code. If I don't give anything here, what will happen means it is an infinite loop. It is go and execute, keeps on again and again and again, and just go and execute it. That's what it is. And now what I need to do, based upon or condition, I need to create either increment or decrement operator. So for example, increment. For example, what I can say, I just want to increase the value of I by plus plus. So what is this? So here it is the starting point. I created a variable I. Okay, I is equal to 0. And if the I value is less than 10, then I just want to run console.log whatever the value is going to be. Once the loop is completed, then it need to increase the value of I. So why I am increasing the value of I? Because every time the loop is going to run, okay, every time the loop is going to run, this is going to increase the value of I. So initially it is 0. So check for the condition 0 less than 10 as true. So the code will be executed. Once the code is executed, then it will increase the value of I. Now 0 is increased to 1. So I plus plus is nothing but it will increase plus 1 time. That's what it is. So 0 plus 1 is going to be 1. So now the I value is 1. So the 1 is less than 10. Here I just ask for console.log. Yes, 1 is less than 10. So yes, definitely. So this is also true, and it just keeps on going. And it just, the loop is keeps on go and keeps on go. It will go there. And once it is reaches 9, so now it check for the condition 9 is less than 10. Yes, it is true. And now it comes here. Now it changes the value to 10. 10 is less than 10. No, false, right? So then what will happen? The loop will stop execute. So this way we can make the loop as a finite loop. So instead of considering an infinite loop. So these three parameters are useful to make a loop as a finite loop. For example, you just want to tell where is the starting point. So from the starting point, you can frame a condition. Depends upon depends upon what the logic that you want to write. And once you write the logic, then you need to create a decrement or increment operator. Based on that only, it is going to decide whether it is going to be a finite loop or infinite loop. Now, if I save and run it, you can see in the console we are getting 10. So it is the count of how many times the loop is run. So if you want to run 1,000 times, then you can mention 1,000. It is going to be run for the 1,000 times. You can able to see how many times it is running, and once it is reaches the 1,000, it just going to stop it, right? So this is what all about loop is. Do you teaching regularly here at Chetan Kumar? Yes. How can I say it? Regularly means like depends upon the schedule of me. I will teach it. Okay. So if I less than 10, how it will be increment to infinite? I is less than 10. How it will be increment to infinite? Yash, I'm not getting what what you're telling. Can you repeat it again with some other words? Okay. Good evening, Rohit. Okay, so this what it is. So why I need to give this three parameters? So we need to like walk with these three parameters. Okay, so we need to just play with these three parameters, and we need to achieve our goal. The first goal is how many times I need to run. I need to run the same process, and second goal is I need to make a finite loop. That's what it is. If you created some infinite loop, then the process is keeps on going, keeps on going. It's just started to run it. Okay, then your browser will hang and it stop executing. You don't want to worry anything, but you need to just close your Google Chrome and just you need to restart it again. That's what you need to do it. Okay, this is what all about this one for loop. Okay, but here you can notice that the execution, what is the execution is. So one is here, it is the starting point. It check for the starting point. The I is going to be if I is defined as less than 0, how it will be infinite loop. If I value less than 10, okay. So you're asking if I value is less than 10, how it is going to be an infinite loop. Well, tell about that. If I just don't give anything, if I don't give anything here in this I plus plus or anything, if I don't give anything, then what will happen? Just remember, this is an infinite loop. How? Because let I is equal to 0, it is check for the condition and the code is going to execute. Now the loop is going to run again, I is equal to 0, I is less than 10, and console.log it is going to execute. So it keeps on running. There is no endpoint, right? So I is always less than 10. So like because I value is going to be 0, it is always going to be less than 0, less than 10. Then it keeps on executing again and again, right? So that is why we need to make we are incrementing the value of I. So the purpose of incrementing the value of I is because I need to run that code for only 10 times, and I just want to every time if I increment the value means at some point of the time it's just going to stop the code execution. That's what it is. Say that it will print as a loop infinitely if I is less than 10 while it will not start. I'm not getting like if I is yeah. Yeah. Okay, okay. Both of them, Yash and Chetan Kumar. Okay, fine. So that's what it is. Like I need to make it because this condition, if it is true, until the condition is going to be true, the loop is going to be executed. So I is going to be 0, and this is going to be always true because 0 is less than 10. It is going to be true always, right? So it is going to execute as long as it's going to be there. That is why we are giving an increment operator to increase the value of I. How many times I want to increase. So it will go and increase on each and every time the loop is going to run. And at certain time, the I values reaches greater than 10. So once it reaches like equal to or greater than 10, the condition is going to be false. If the condition is false, the loop will stop. That's what it is. Okay. So this was all about for loop. Okay. And here notices the workflow, how it is working. First is the starting point, start from I is equal to 0. And second is I is less than 10. It is the condition. Once the condition is true, it will execute the code. Once the condition is true, it is go and execute the code. Once the code is executed, then only the increment operator will increase the value of I. Okay, that's what it will do. So now you can see the zigzag workflow, right? So while loop is something, it is also going to do the exactly the same thing, but you can, the workflow is little bit ordered. Okay, you can see that. So the second loop, we can achieve the same process with while loop. How? Just say while. Okay, it is going to be while, and here I just going to say let I equal to 0. This is my initiation, and here I use the while keyword to check the condition. Here I can say I is less than 10. Then I need to execute the code. What is the code I just want to execute? It is going to be print my name in the console, and once you printed it, then you just want to increment the operator. So now you can see the flow. Increase, check the condition, execute the code, and finally increment the operator. So this code is like well structured, right? So the while loop is that exactly same what for loop is doing. The while loop is also do the exact same thing. But the thing is the execution, the way of writing code is different. The syntax is different. So here we need to write this one, and lot of like most of the people get messed with this semicolons. So here you can see whenever you are working with a function, we will give the comma for parameters. So to separate one parameter from another, and here we will use the whatever the value, whatever the conditions and everything, we will separate it with semicolons, right? People will just get an error with this kind of syntax. So this while loop is pretty simple. You just want to tell initiation, check the condition. If it is true, go and execute the code. Then once the code is executed, increment the value of I and check for it. We will get the value to it. Exact same thing, but the workflow is going to be different. That's what it is. Okay, so that's what about while loop. Okay, both are same, only the execution is going to be different. It is straightforward and it is a little bit zigzag. That's what it is. Well, we have another loop that is going to be do while. Okay, so it is going to be do while loop. So do while loop is completely different from while loop and for loop. Chetan, like you don't want to worry about that one, like how many, what is the time count, and I think you the person. Just a minute. Yeah, you don't want to worry about that one. So whatever you want to use, you can use it. There is not that much difference while using the for loop and while loop. And most of the people prefer to go with for loops, but while loop also you can use it and you can go with, because this is the most traditional way that we will use it. And while is pretty simple and we will structurally use it. And nowadays the loop concept is used for only the looping concept. We will come to that while like most of the places where the loop is used to iterate an array. But here now we have the iteration processes then. The for loop is much more effective than compared to the while loop, depends upon the execution time. But the while loop is, because the while loop is just going to be doing the same thing what for loop is doing. But for loop is much more structured and it will be there. But while loop is very simple and easy to write it. That's what it is. But you don't want to worry about the like which one is efficient and what you need to do. You can use anything, okay? Because there is no much more difference while writing those things and all, okay? So you don't want to care about that things. Okay. So the next one is going to be do while loop. So do while loop is called as an exit control loop. So what is comes into concept, like what is going to be exit control loop? So it is going to be completely different from while loop and for loop. Okay. So let us understand the workflow of while loop and for loop. First is initiation. We will initiate a variable, and second we will check for a condition. If the condition is true, then we will execute the code. And once the code is executed, then incrementing. Right. This is the workflow. Right. But here it is going to be completely different. Let's see that how here it will execute. Here it is going to be let I equal to 0. Okay, so this is initiation, and here the syntax is going to be do, and we're going to have while here. So what is the do while loop will do means, second what we will do, we will just check for the condition, right? But here it is not going to check for the condition first. It just go and execute the code first like this. Okay, and then we will increment the value. Then only it will check for the I value of I equal to I is less than 10. So this is much more different. Like execution flow is going to be much more different. It will initiation and check for the code, check for the execution. Like it is, it will execute the code and then increment the value. Then only it is check for the condition. Okay. So in this way, you can see that even the condition is going to be false. Even the condition is going to be false. It is going to execute the code at least one time. For example, if I run it, you will get 10 times. But what if I say the value of I is equal to 10? If I run it, you can see you will get at least one time. So because I is not less than 10, I is equal to 10, right? But here the code is executing. Why? Because the execution flow is different. Initiation, it execute the code and increment the value, then it check for the condition, whether it is true or false. Okay, it is not, then if it is true, it will go and execute again. If it is false means then stop it. So meanwhile, it is going to execute at least one time. Okay, it is going to execute at least one time. But here in while loop or for loop, if the condition is false, the code will not execute. If I is equal to let is equal to 0, like I is equal to 0, and if I say I value less than 0, and here if I make I value as 10, you can see it will not execute. But when it comes to while loop, it will execute at least one time. Okay, so even the condition is going to be false, it is going to execute at least minimum one time in our condition. Okay, so that's what do while loop is do. So that's how it will be do. So it depends upon, like if you want to, like if something that you want to run at least for one time, even the condition is going to be false, or I just, if the condition is going to be true, I just want to execute that, then during that time you can use this do while loop. Okay, so these all are loops. So loop is nothing but iterating, like running a special things again and again and just creating an infinite. You just want to create a finite loop. That is the one thing that you need to keep in mind. There are three types of loop: is there for loop, while loop, and do while loop. Okay, so whatever the loop that you like to use depends upon what's the logic that you want to like. You can create it. For loop and while loop is going to be exactly the same thing, that you can use it whenever you want it. And do while loop is going to be, even the condition, the execution is totally different in do while loop. Even the condition is going to be false, it is going to execute the code, because it will execute the code first and then only check for the condition. So that's what the reason it is. Okay, so now what we're going to see is, we're going to see one of the important concept, that is going to be iteration concept. So what is going to be iteration concept? So iteration concept is nothing but, okay, iteration concept is nothing but, so whenever you are creating an array, okay, here you can see that you will have like this 4, 5, 6. Okay, so now if you want to create a doublet of this array, so what is mean by doublet? Like you need to multiply each and every value by 2, and you need to store it in a separate array. So how can you create it? So what we will do means, we can use this loop. Okay, with the help of this loop, what we can do is, we can achieve that iteration process. For example, in normally without loop, how we can achieve? We will just say const arr1. I just created an empty array, and what I need to do, I just want to say arr1 dot push. Okay, and what I want to push, I just want to push arr 0th index multiplied by 2, like this. And now here, if I ask for console.log, what is arr1, and if I ask for it, we will get 2 here. Same like this, every time we need to run it, right? I just want to run, instead of index, I just want to say index1, and I just want to run this for all the index. I just want to fetch the array, and I just want to run it for all the index, because that is what I need to achieve, right? So I need to fetch each and every value. I just want to fetch each and every value and multiply by 2, and I need to send the value to a new array. That's what I need to do. So this is what I need to create, a doublet. But you can see this process is repeated process, right? This process is a repeated process that we can able to achieve it with loops. So how can we achieve it? Let us uncomment of it. Instead of writing this, now if I run it, you can see it is an empty array. Here what I'm going to do, let us create for loop or while loop, anything. So I just go for while loop for simple explanation. I just say let I equal to 0. So 0 is my initiation phase. And here I check for while. And here what I'm going to do, I, instead of less than giving a number, so you can do two things. One is, you can count the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. If the I value is less than 6, you can give like that. or you can give the value dynamically. So what is meant by dynamically means, well, these values in future, for example, if someone increased this array, if someone added any value, then what you need to do, you need to change the count here also, right? So instead of avoiding this, what you can do means, while you are working with an array, while you working with an array, you will have a default property called length property, and this length property tells the count of your array. So you can see right now this is going to be 0 because nothing inside it. But here if I check for the array dot length, it will tell the array length of that. Okay, we can use it. How can we use it means, simply array is also an object, so simply arr dot length. So if you ask for what is arr length, it will tells the length of an array. It will tells the length of an array. So you can see that I just created an infinite loop because I just filled the condition. So that is why I value is already there. You can see my browser has started to reload and it is started to hang, right? You can see this one, right? Let me do, I just come off it. You can see the loop is going on because I saved it. I have an auto save function. So that is why it is saved it. Let us close this one to stop the execution and open it with. That's what will happen whenever you are creating an infinite loop. This is what happened. So just simply you just want to comment off the code and just want to restart your server again. And now you can see it will giving what is that? It is going to be 7. And if you increase the value, if someone later increases the value of an array, you can see we will get the increased value, right? So we can use this dynamic value here, and here you can tell what is the code that you want to execute. The code I want to execute is in arr1, okay, dot push, and here I just going to say arr, the index I need to say, the index I just give 0 and I just multiply it by 2. Okay, so what is in our 0th array, I just want to multiply it by 2 and I just want to increment the I value plus plus. Okay, let me see this code first, and if I just execute it, you can see we created a new array. Okay, so the arr having right now, the arr is created for new array, and you can able to see that it will run, the loop is run for 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 times. It is run successfully run, but every time it is running, it just returns only 2 inside this array, not the doublet of the next one. Why this has happened? Because just imagine this is the starting point and I'm checking for I values less than array dot length. The array dot length value is going to be 8. I value is 0. 0 is less than 10. So it is true. So once it is true, now it is comes inside here. So it is going to array1 dot push. So inside this array, it is going to push the value. Okay. So the push is method is used to send your value inside an array. Okay. And here what we're going to do, arr, I just say that 0th index. So what is the 0th index? It is going to be 1. So every time it is going to fetch that 1 and multiply by 2. So 1 multiplied by 2 is going to be 2. So it is going to run this loop for 8 times. For all the 8 times, it is going to multiply it with the 1 only. I don't want that. The first time what I need, the first time the loop runs, it need to take the 1. Second time it need to take 2. Third time it need to take 3. Fourth time it need to take 4. Like that it is go and take all the values. So what can I do? Well, look into this I value. So I value starts from 0 and it is keeps on incrementing, right? So then it is go for 1 and it is go for 2 and it is go for 3, right? So what we can do, yes, Chetan, that is correct. So just replace this 0 with I. So now what happened? The I is going to be 0 initially. So 0, we will get 1. 1 multiplied by 2, we're going to get 2. And then it increase the value to 1. And here we will get 2. And like that, each and every time the loop is going to run, we will get the doublet of this application, right? So this process is called as iteration process, like iterating each and every value in an array, like fetching each and every value and doing some process in an array. That is process is called as iteration process. And this is you can achieve with any loops like for loop and while loop you can achieve it. And some default method is also available, okay, to do this process. But right now we're going to cover this one. It is not an infinite loop, it is a finite loop. Okay, it's a finite loop. Why? Because what is arr dot length? Arr dot length is going to be 8. So the I value is going to be increased each and every time. The limit is specified. Arr dot length what is the value of AR dot length? The AR dot length value is going to be 8, right? So here it is 8. I value is going to be 0, and 0 less than 8 is going to be check for it, and just each and every time we are going to increment the value, right? So it is going to increment, and it is once it reaches 8, it is going to stop it. Okay, so this is an finite loop. If you created an infinite loop and you run this code, what happened to my browser? It will happen like it is just, it will not execute, it just go on execute again and again, and the browser started to hang and it will got off. Okay, so you can easily identify it is an infinite loop. Okay, so this what it is, this is what about that. So this is all about iteration process, and doing this iteration process, you can achieve it with loop also, and some default method is also available. That is covered in the advanced JavaScript concept. You can have a look into that one when you have time. The previous week we have taken a advanced to mastery level, the core JavaScript concept, we have covered it. Have a look into that one. Okay. So right now we can achieve this one. This is a process of iteration, first one. And now what we're going to see, template literals. So the template literal is one of the concepts that is introduced newly. Okay, so this is used to run like work with some string, like work with string manipulations and variable fetching. So what is mean by that? For example, if you create a variable, let a equal to 10, okay, like this, okay, and here it just created const detail, okay, so the value of the number. Okay, basically if we write a sequence of letter, that we will enclose with double quotes and single quotes, right? That's what we will do, and we will write plus 10 like this, right? So this is how we will achieve. And if I ask it in the console.log, and here you just go and say detail. Okay, we ask for it, and we will get the value of number is going to be 10. Okay, so that is a white space we need to give, and let me increase the space like this, and it will give the white space like this. So this is what basically we will do it, right? So the value of the 10 working with the string. So that is another way is also there, where it is very comfortable to working with JavaScript and also to working with string and variable fetching. That is going to be the template letters, where you need to write all your string inside this backticks. And if you want to run some JavaScript code, or you need to fetch some variable, you can use this dollar sign and this curly braces. And whatever the code that you are writing inside this curly braces, it is considered as the JavaScript code. It will do it dynamically, the code. And whatever the code that you are going to write it here, it is considered as a string. For example, instead of writing this, I can say create a backticks, and here I can say the value of the number is, and if you want to fetch a variable, just give dollar sign a, and it is going to fetch the value of the a variable, it is going to fetch it. And then you can continue writing value of a, and if I multiplied the value by 10, then we get, I just going to say dollar underscore, here you can write a multiplied by 10 like this. And if you do this, and if I save it, you can see the value of number is going to be 10. If I multiply the value by 10, then we will get 100, right? So whatever you can just, if you use this backticks, whatever you want to write, you just write it, that is considered as a string. And whatever the JavaScript code that you want to write it, here you can see this is a JavaScript operation we have done. And if you want to fetch a variable, you can fetch like this. Whatever JavaScript code that you want to write, you can write it here. So that is going to be the template letter. Okay, so now let us go and work with some apply all these concepts whatever we have learned, and let us do something. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, you can see we have a div that is async container, that is nothing inside this. Okay, inside this is going to be nothing, and here I just going to remove all these things. Okay, and here I just going to say hello socials of PWD like this. Okay, and let us go for the style. Let us fetch this dollar head, and I'm just going to say text align is going to be center. What is the ID that we have given? It is going to be head, right? like this. Okay, and we remove this container styling also. We just removed it. Okay, so the container is going to be run, and we're going to. So now what we're going to do? We're just going to create an array. Okay, we're just going to say const post equal to, it is going to be an array, and inside this array I just going to create an objects. I just going to create 4 object. Okay, so I just going to create 4 object inside this array. I just going to create 4 object, and this 4 object is going to contain some information, some properties. I just going to say name is going to be, I just say name is going to be Hari, and here I just going to say name, and here I just say post. So it is basically going to be the image. Okay, for getting image I just go for unsplash.com and just click here with unsplash, and I just get some coding image. Okay, let's say code image or design image or anything that you want to get, you can get it. So I just going to say, let us fetch this one, copy this image address, and I just going to paste it here. Okay, and here I just going to say nothing. Okay, so the same thing I just going to create for all my objects. So I just going to say name, let I take some name from here. Okay, I'm just going to take Yash. Okay, and here I just going to say post. Okay, and let me take code igniter PHP. We don't want PHP. Let us go for VS Code, this one, and I just going to add this one here, and I just going to create another name. Let us take Chetan. Okay, and now let us consider this as like, so this is the name and this is the post. Like any social media, we are posting some photos, right? So like that, the name, the person who posted it, and the post that they have been stored. That's what, like that. Okay, and here I just going to say what is the post that Chaitan post is going to be. It's going to be his workspace. So I just going to copy this image address and let us paste it here. And now what I'm going to do, the last one, who is the last one, is going to be, it's going to be Vamshi. Name, it's going to be Vamshi, like this. And here I just going to say post is, first of Vamshi is going to be, let me take this one, copy this image address, paste it here. So now you can see that we have an array, and each and every array is having an object. You can see we having 4 objects, right? And each and every object having some 2 information. One is name and post. Okay, so these are all the 2 information that here we are having. So now what I'm going to do, let us consider this as our database, a database that we created by our own. Okay, in real world also, if you work with database, you will get something like this only, array nested object only, you will get it. With the help of this data that I'm having, okay, I just going to create an application. So how can we create it? Let me do that one. We apply all the concept that what we have learned here, and with the help of this we're going to create it. Okay, so that is what we're going to do. Okay, fine. So now what I'm going to do, first what I need to do means, I just want to tell where I want to render all the data. Okay, here I having some data, so where I need to render all this data. So where I need to render is inside this container I need to render. Okay, so here I just want to create a div called inner container. Okay, so this, inside this inner container I going to have an h1 tag, and this h1 tag contains the name of the person. Okay, and another one is going to be an image tag. That image tag contains the image that we have it in inside this app dot here. We have this image, right? So inside this image only we're going to post it. So this is our structure. I need to add it. So how many times I need to add it? So how many data I'm having, that much of time I need to add it. So what can I do? I just come out of here. So first, let me fetch this container. So it has an ID. We know how to fetch an ID. So what is the method that we can use? Simply const container equal to document dot get element by ID. With the help of this method, you can get an element here. I just going to say container. It is the method that you want to fetch. It is the element that you want to fetch. And now I just ask for in the console.log, what is container? This container. What is container? You can see it is fetched the entire container. So inside this container only, I need to render this data. So I just want to change the inner HTML of this container. So what is the method that I can use? Well, we can use container dot inner HTML. So with the help of this inner HTML method, what we can do, we can add inside, like inside this inside that div, I can add something. For example, I just say hello. So what will happen? The hello will be added here. You can see if I just refresh it and just this one, and now refresh it. You can see initially we having this hello inside this div, right? So we are adding it. I don't want to add this one. What I need to add? Well, I need to add this entire div, this structured div. I need to add it. So before that, what I need to do is, I need to loop through this array. So we used to see what is iteration process, right? So what is iteration? Running through each and every element in an array. So I'm going to achieve that process. I just going to say let I is equal to 0, okay, and I just say while okay, I is less than, what we can say, what is the array name? It is going to be post. So I just going to say I value is less than post dot length, okay. Then what you need to do, you just want to say inside this container dot inner HTML, you need to say hello. So now once it is done, then I need to increment the value of I. So I just going to say I plus plus to make it final true. And if I run it, you can see this here we will get only one hello. But what is the length of this array? It is going to be 4. So the loop need to run for 4 times, but I will get only one time. So why this has happened? Because whenever you are using assignment operator equal to sign, what will happen means it is go and store. It is go and replace the previous value. Okay. So initially the hello is go inside, and then what will happen means the another hello is go and replace the previous hello. So likewise the content is get replaced. I don't want to get replace my content. I just want to append it. So previously a content is there. With that content, I need to add the next content. So I just want to append it. So what can I do now? So just you can add the plus like addition assignment operator. With the help of that, it will get append. Now if I run it, you can see we are getting hello for 4 times. Why we are getting this hello for 4 times? It's very simple. Here the container is an empty container, and inside this inner HTML, there is nothing inside this inner HTML. And initially I'm adding an hello. First time the loop is running, I'm adding hello. So the second time also the loop is go and run. The post, it is go and run, and it is going to say another hello. So the previous hello and the next second hello is get added. Like that, the 4 times it is go and just get added. That's what will happen. Now I don't want to say hello here. Instead of this, I just want to add this entire div inner container in my JavaScript. I just going to paste it here. But you can see that this double quote is not effective when you are writing multiple lines. Okay, so if it is a single line, then that will be well and good. But if you are writing for multiple lines, it is not effective. So that is why we can go for this backticks. Okay, we can go for this backticks. So in backticks, you can able to write for multiple times. So now what is going to happen? You can get the name for 4 times. If I run it, I can just comment off this one. If I run it, you can see we are getting name. Why? Because the I value is going to run until the post.length is going to reach. The post.length is going to be the length of this array. The length of the array is going to be 4. So till 4 times the loop is going to run, and every time the loop is running, this particular div, whatever we created inside this div, it is going to be run again and again. It is going to be run. So now what I want is here I just don't want the name. What I want is I want the name of first time it is run, I want my name, and second time it is Yash, third time it is going to be Chetan, fourth time is going to be Vamsi. So all the name of the object I need to fetch it. So what we can do, okay? So what we can do, we can simply use the dollar sign, and we can use this template literals, and here you can write your JavaScript code. So post is the array, and I just going to give the I value, okay, I value inside it. So now the I value is going to be, let us consider initially the I value is going to be 0, okay, and what I want, this is an object, so I want this name. So what you can do is, you can just use dot operator and you can fetch the name of the person. So post is an array, so I need to access 0th index, and I just want to tell the name of the person. Once the loop is completed, post is an array, and now the I value is 1. So the first indexed object, and I just want the name. I just want to replace here, and if I run it, you can see we are getting this Yash, Hari, and Chaitan and Vamsi in our socials of TWD. Same like this, here we need to replace with SRC. So how we can replace this SRC? So I just want the image of the post. I just going to say post. This is going to be I. Each and every time the value is going to be increased, and here I just going to say image. And if I save it, not image, it is going to be post, right? And if I save it, you can see we have fetched all the posts that we have get in our database, like the fake database we have created it. So what happens if we use triple equal to? Why you need to use triple equal to? So triple equal to is used to compare the values. So here it is less than, okay, so I'm using less than. Triple equal to compare both the values are equal or not. So that's what triple equal to is. It depends upon the logic only, you need to use the operators, okay. Here I want to check only whether it is less than or not, or that only, okay. Why name is not printing horizontally now? So the name is not printing horizontally because we added that in a div, okay. Anything that is a div is by default have a block level scope, right? So it will occupies the entire space of it, okay. So if you add a letter, simply a letter, so that is going to take an inline level, so the basic HTML. So block level is going to take the entire space in it, right? So this h1 is going to take the entire space. You can see if I refresh it, you can see a container is there. Inside this container, each and every div takes the entire space. But whenever you are adding a simply a word or string or anything, it is going to take the inline space. It will take only this only. But when you are giving something in an div like block level scope, so the h1 tag, paragraph tag, and so like div tag, they all by default have a block level scope, which means they will take the entire width. They should not allow anyone to come inside their area, okay. So just take it. But like image tag, anchor tag, span tag, they have by default inline level, so they will take only the level that they wanted. So that's what it is not comes horizontally, it will comes next to it. The reason that is, so this is because of HTML, not something JavaScript is doing. So the HTML thing, okay. So you can simply understand by, for example, here you created a paragraph tag, and I just say hello, okay, and you can see we are getting this hello. And if I creating this paragraph tag again, you can see it will comes in next line. Why? Because paragraph tag by default it has a block level scope, okay. So it's like not scope, it has a display of block, okay. So which means it is going to take the entire width. It will not allow anyone to come inside that. Even though it is going to be very small, it is going to take the entire width. But if you created a span tag instead of paragraph tag, if I create a span tag, and if I say hello, okay, and again if I create a span tag, and here if I say hello, and it will comes next to it. Reason why? Because it is by default have the display of inline thing. So the display is going to be inline, so it will take only as much as space as is want, okay. So there are if you search it in Google, there are certain tags by default they have the display property as block. By default they have display property as inline, so based upon their behavior it will be work, okay. So that's what it is, okay. So now we have just, let us consider this is our database, and from our database we have render it in all our whatever the data that is in our database stored, we just render it. So now what we need to do, let's go for the style, and let me do let me do the styling part. Okay, what we can do right now, we are in the container, so I just going to say display is going to be flex, and I just going to see the justify content is going to be center, and here is going to be flex direction is going to be column, and here I just going to say align items is going to be center, like this. And now what we can do, here you can see we added a class 2. So in this div we added a class 2 that is going to be inner container. So simply we can just take this class and just add inner dash container. Okay, so this is going to be the container. So first, before styling this one, I just paste it for here, and inner container inside I just want to fetch the h1, that is for styling my name, and another one is going to be fetching the image. Okay, that is for styling the image. So let us view the container height is going to be 500 pixel height, and it is going to have the border is going to be have 1 pixel solid black, like this. We having this. Let us add the border radius. Okay, let us add the border radius 8 pixel, like this. And now I just say the text align all is going to be center, like this. Okay, so let us give the margin is going to be 2 pixel, little bit bigger, and padding is going to be 10 pixel, like this. Now what we can do, let me see the width equal to 50% of the total width. Okay, like this. And now what I'm going to do here, let me add the h1. Okay, font size, like this. Any size that whatever the size that you want to add, you can add it, no problem in the font size. And let me add the width equal to 30% of the content width. Here I just want to say it's going to be 300 pixel, like this. Okay, let us make this to 400 pixel, 300. Yeah, let us make this one like this. And let us add the border radius. Whatever the styling that you like to give, whatever you want to give, you can give it. So make, and if you want to create an bar, you want to create a sidebar, whatever the socials, and you want to create a social icons, whatever you want to give, you can give it. And depends upon that, whatever the sizing, whatever the styling that you want to give, you can give that also. Okay, so let us add box shadow 0 pixel, 0 pixel, 0 pixel, 8 pixel. Okay, like this, like this. Let us copy, like this. And this is our neat application. And you can just, with the help of this dummy data, you can create whatever you want to create, you can create it. Like just an example. So what you can do, you can add a navbar and add all your names and inputs here, and you can add the sidebar and you can render it here. And this is a neat example that you can, with the help of this example, that you can create any application that you want. If you want to, like here we only added the name and post, right, two things. So what you want to add, you can add it much more data. So you want to add it, you can add it. For example, you want to create a movie app. So what you want to do, you need to add an image of the movie and the name of the movie and the cast, like who all are the like acted in this movie, you want to add it, ratings, and those things you can add it. Or if you want to create an e-commerce application, now what you can do, inside this array you add the product image, name of the image, rating of the image, buy now, like what is the price of the image, and what is the description, short description, like that you can add it. And with the help of that, what you can do, here inside the div we only fetched it h1 tag and an image tag. So you can add your pricing tag, like here, like I just add a paragraph tag, and here I just say like. Okay, so like this, and here you will get it. And if you want to add some emojis, you can just add your emojis, like this. like this. You can get it, like it, or whatever you want to add, just add it to your data and just come up with some like entire full stack like entire front end application you want to recreate a clone. Okay, you don't want to worry about you. I need backend to learn something or something. Like you just create your own array nested object and consider that as like your AP. So then you can create. You just want to focus upon HTML and CSS, and you can create all your application. Okay, so with the help of this one, you can able to come up with an Instagram clone. You can able to come up with an Facebook clone, because instead of this one you can add some other things like photos and everything. You just come up with this and just render it and just show it and you will got it. Okay, so that's it. That's what today's, and we have successfully completed the DOM operations and everything that we have created, and this is the application that we are coming up with. Hope that it will be really helpful. So wait for a second, I just shared you the attendance form. Okay, so be in the meet. I just share you the attendance form. Please fill the attendance form. Okay, the 4-day attendance form. And if you have any doubt, you can use it. Can we use HTML tags in JavaScript file? Yes, of course, you can use it HTML tags in JavaScript file. Okay. Just a minute. You can use it. So I think you haven't watched the previous day's classes. Just have a look into the previous day's classes. You can use it. You can use it, Chetan. That is absolutely with the help of inner HTML. So this property is basically understand your HTML tag. So that is why we are using inner HTML. Okay. If we give some inner any HTML tags, okay, so it will know that. Okay, the inner HTML property know that it is an HTML tag. So if it is an H1 tag, it will create the bold text. If it is a paragraph tag, it will create a normal text. Likewise, it will create it. So it will understand, no problem with that. Okay, so you can use it. So it's what some of the DOM operation properties that we have previously, like yesterday, we have worked with. Have a look into that and you just fill it. And here is the form that you need to fill for the day 4. Just fill the day 4 form, and once you filled, just tell to me filled. Okay, and that's it for today. I hope that you get some insight about the basics of JavaScript. Most of the people who already know about JavaScript, so it's just like a refresh for you. But people who are new here, you will get an insight like what are the topics that we need to learn, what we're going to do. Like that, you will get an insight. Okay, so that's what the main aim of this 4 days of workshop and taking classes and doing some projects. Yesterday also we have created some mini project. Today is this also mini project. And this today project, with the help of this, you can come up with any clone. Spotify clone, yes, you can come up with. Just you need to know what all are the data that you want to give into that. Okay, you can create a Spotify clone, you can create an Instagram clone, or any social media clone, or any Netflix for front end application, not for back end. Okay, so you can just create it and work with your design skills, like design skills and interactivity skills and everything. Okay, so then that will be most. Okay, and thank you for the peoples of those 4 people. I used your name from the chat box. Okay, so don't worry that. Okay, yeah. Okay, so once you filled it, inform me. Just if you filled the attendance form, means tell it in the chat box filled. Okay, we will end the meet within 2 minutes. Okay, just tell to me. Okay, guys, thank you all who all are filled. Okay, thank you all, thank you. We will see one more if you have some time. We will see that. If you really value, like if you feel like that this content is worthy and it is really value for you, just please give a like and subscribe and tell your valuable feedback in your social media posts and tagging them. Okay, so we will be respond in your social media post. And thank you so much for attending this 4 days of workshop. And there are a lot more workshop is going to be coming this month. We're going to have React beginner workshop is going to be there, and JavaScript advanced, JavaScript project, CSS project, and so much of workshop is going to be there. Everything is going to be 4 days of workshop or 5 days of workshop. We will covering it a lot. Okay, have a look into that. And if you really feel this contents are worthy, just give a like and subscribe. It will really motivate us. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you all.